Look, let's be honest. If you've ever been told to cut out carbs, you probably rolled your eyes a little. Bread, rice, potatoes, these are comfort foods. They're culture. They're what make meals feel complete. So when someone says, just stop eating them, it's not just unrealistic, it's unsustainable. The good news? You don't have to live a carb-free life to keep your blood sugar stable. You just need to understand how to eat them wisely, and once you learn that, it changes everything. You see, carbs themselves aren't evil. What matters is how your body processes them, and how you prepare and pair them. I want to walk you through something that most people have never heard of: resistant starch. It sounds technical, but it's actually pretty simple once you break it down. Most starches, like white bread, white rice, or mashed potatoes, break down quickly into glucose. That glucose hits your bloodstream fast, spikes your blood sugar, and forces your pancreas to pump out a big burst of insulin to bring it down. Do that over and over, year after year, and your cells start to ignore insulin. That's insulin resistance, the hallmark of type 2 diabetes. But here's the twist. Not all starch behaves this way. Resistant starch is a special type of starch that resists digestion. Instead of being broken down into sugar in your small intestine, it travels to your large intestine. There, your gut bacteria get to work fermenting it, and this process produces short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. Butyrate is like a superhero molecule. It helps your gut lining stay healthy, reduces inflammation, and even improves how your body responds to insulin. So, ironically, the right kind of starch can fight insulin resistance rather than cause it. Now, here's where it gets really cool. You can create resistant starch at home with foods you already eat. Let's say you love rice, cook it as usual, then cool it down in the fridge overnight, ideally for about 24 hours. When it cools, some of that starch crystallizes and transforms into resistant starch. When you reheat it later, that resistant starch stays intact. The result? The same rice, but it digests slower and has a much smaller impact on your blood sugar. This process is called starch retrogradation. It's just a fancy way of saying that when you cool and reheat starchy foods like rice, potatoes, or even pasta, the structure of the starch changes in a way that makes it harder for your digestive enzymes to break down. Several studies have shown that cooling cooked rice or potatoes to around 39-degree rates, that's about 4 degrees Celsius, for 24 hours can significantly increase the amount of resistant starch they contain. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but does that really make a difference? Yes. When people eat cooled and reheated rice, their blood sugar and insulin levels after the meal, what we call the postprandial response, are much lower compared to when they eat freshly cooked rice. So if you're at home making dinner, you don't have to ditch your favorite foods. Just cool them down first. Maybe make your rice or potatoes the day before, refrigerate them overnight, and reheat when you're ready to eat. You'll barely notice the difference in taste, but your body definitely will. And if you want even more resistant starch naturally, you can find it in foods like beans, lentils, peas, oats, and barley. These foods not only help control blood sugar but also feed your gut microbiome, those trillions of bacteria that play a huge role in your metabolism and immune system. But cooling food is just one piece of the puzzle. The way you eat your carbs matters too. Let's talk about food pairing. Have you ever noticed that you feel full longer when you eat a meal that includes some protein and fat along with your carbs? That's not your imagination, it's biology. Studies have shown that when you add protein or fat to a carbohydrate-rich meal, it can significantly blunt the blood sugar spike afterward. Here's how it works. Protein triggers the release of hormones that slow digestion and signal satiety. Fat delays gastric emptying, meaning your stomach releases food into the small intestine more slowly. Together they create a steadier, more gradual release of glucose into your bloodstream. The result? You avoid that sudden sugar rush followed by an energy crash. So instead of eating a bowl of plain rice, eat rice with beans, or pair your potatoes with some olive oil or butter. Instead of grabbing a slice of bread alone, have it with some avocado, peanut butter, or eggs. These small changes make a huge difference. And here's a fun trick. Add a splash of acid. I'm talking about vinegar, lemon, or lime juice. Acids help slow down the breakdown of starches, reducing the glycemic impact of your meal. Apple cider vinegar in particular has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity, meaning your body needs less insulin to manage the same amount of glucose. That's why starting your meal with a salad dressed in vinegar or lemon juice can be surprisingly powerful. Now, there's another little known hack that can completely change your glucose curve, and it costs nothing. Food order. The order in which you eat your food actually matters. If you start your meal with bread or juice, your glucose shoots up fast. But if you begin with protein and vegetables, then move on to your carbs, the spike is dramatically smaller. It's the same meal, same calories, but a completely different blood sugar response. In one study, people with type 2 diabetes who ate their veggies and protein first had about 40% lower post-meal blood sugar than when they started with carbs. That's huge. So next time you're at a restaurant and they serve bread before your meal, don't touch it right away. Wait until you've had your salad or your main dish, then enjoy it. It's a small behavioral tweak that pays off in a big way. Alright, now, let's move a bit. Literally. One of the most underrated blood sugar tools is movement after meals. You don't need to hit the gym or run a marathon. Just a 10-minute walk after eating can significantly lower your post-meal glucose levels. When you walk, the muscles in your legs, especially your soleus muscle in your calf, act like a glucose sponge. They soak up glucose directly from your bloodstream and use it for energy. What's incredible about the soleus muscle is that it's made of slow-twitch fibers, which means it can stay active for a long time without getting tired. So even light activity, like walking around the block, cleaning up after dinner, or climbing a few stairs, can have a powerful metabolic effect. Timing also matters. The sooner after your meal you start moving, the better. You want to catch that window when glucose is peaking in your blood, usually within the first 30 to 60 minutes after eating. A short walk during that time can flatten your glucose curve dramatically. Now, let's talk about carb quality, because not all carbs are created equal. There's a world of difference between white bread and steel-cut oats, between sugary cereal and a baked sweet potato. The more processed a carbohydrate is, the faster it hits your bloodstream. When grains are milled into fine flour, your digestive system has less work to do. It's like pre-chewed food. That means faster digestion, faster glucose release, and sharper blood sugar spikes. But whole or coarsely ground grains digest much more slowly. Think of it like a campfire. If you throw sawdust into the fire, it burns hot and fast. That's your white bread. But if you toss in a log, it burns slow and steady. That's your intact grains and high-fiber carbs. So, swap out refined foods for whole foods whenever possible. Instead of instant oats, try steel-cut. Instead of white rice, try brown or wild rice occasionally. And please, don't forget fiber. Fiber is the unsung hero of blood sugar control. It slows digestion, feeds your gut bacteria, and keeps you full longer. If you're cutting carbs, fine, but don't cut the fiber. Most Americans are eating less than half the recommended amount, and that's a big reason why blood sugar and metabolic problems are so common. One more piece of advice, and it's a big one: timing your meals. Eating late at night is one of the worst things you can do for your blood sugar. Here's why. Your body runs on a circadian rhythm, a natural internal clock that controls things like hormone levels, metabolism, and sleep. During the day, your body is primed to handle food efficiently, but as the evening goes on, insulin sensitivity drops. Your pancreas doesn't release insulin as effectively, and your cells don't respond to it as well. Add to that the fact that melatonin, the sleep hormone, rises at night. Melatonin actually interferes with insulin release, so when you eat late, you're stacking the odds against yourself. Your blood sugar stays elevated longer, which means your body is working overtime while you sleep. The fix? Try to finish dinner at least 3 hours before bedtime. Give your body time to digest and process that glucose before you hit the pillow. You'll sleep better, and your morning glucose readings will thank you. So, let's recap. Not with bullet points, but with a story. Imagine your favorite dinner. Maybe it's chicken, rice, and veggies. You cook the rice the night before and let it cool. The next day, you reheat it. You start your meal with your salad and chicken, maybe dressed with a little olive oil and vinegar. Then, you eat your rice. After dinner, you take a quick 10-minute walk around the block. That one meal, with just a few smart changes, will keep your blood sugar flatter, your energy steadier, and your body happier. And that's really the key here. You don't need to fear carbs, you just need to understand them. Once you know how to handle them, you can enjoy your favorite foods, bread, rice, potatoes, without guilt or chaos in your blood sugar. So if this changed how you think about carbs, hit that subscribe button, because every week, we break down real health science in plain English. No hype, no BS, just practical advice you can actually use. Stay healthy, eat smart, and I'll see you in the next one.